I left the bank at 3:45 on a Tuesday afternoon with an envelope in my hands. Not just any envelope. This one held a cashier's check for $187,000, 30 years of my life. Every morning shift at the diner. Every double I picked up when someone called in sick. Every birthday I worked because holiday pay was time and a half. All of it. Right there. In my hands. My son needed it. That's what mattered. I drove home with the windows down even though it was late October, and the air had that bite to it. The leaves were turning. Everything felt right. Like this was what mothers do. We catch our children when they fall. Ryan had called me 3 weeks ago. His voice broke when he told me about the business, how it was failing, how he might lose the house, how his wife was talking about leaving, taking little Emma with her. I couldn't let that happen. The house came into view. Ryan's car was already in the driveway. I smiled. Good. I could tell him right away. But the living room was dark. Only the bedroom light upstairs was on, the one in his old room. I grabbed my purse, reached for the door handle. That's when I heard his voice through the window. He was laughing. I hadn't heard him laugh like that in months. I stopped. Hand on the door handle. Something about that laugh felt wrong. Not wrong like danger. Wrong like a lie. I stepped back, moved to the side of the house, under the window of his old room. His voice floated down, clear, happy. No, she doesn't suspect anything. I told you, my mother is easy. She's been easy her whole life. My breath caught. A woman's voice on the other end. Faint. I couldn't make out the words. Ryan kept talking. Yeah, I really got the whole amount. Every penny. I looked down at the envelope in my hand. The cashier's check. $187,000. He was talking about me. About this. Stupid woman took out everything. The words hit like a slap. The woman said something else. Ryan laughed again. She fell for the whole thing. Failing business, losing the house, Claire leaving, all of it. My legs went weak. I leaned against the house. None of it was real? I'll wire half to your account tonight, babe. The other half we sit on for 2 months. Then we say the business recovered. She'll never know. The woman's voice again. Clearer this time. You really think she won't figure it out? Ryan's response was cold, confident. Please. She gave up everything for me once before. She'll do it again. That's what mothers like her do. They break. I pressed my hand against my mouth, trying not to make a sound. He kept going. You should have seen her face when I told her about Emma, about losing the house. She was crying, actually crying. It was almost too easy. Too easy. The woman laughed. You're terrible. No, I'm smart. Mom's been holding on to that pension like it's gold. I've been trying to get my hands on it for years. This was the only way. What about Claire? Does she know? Ryan scoffed. Claire? No. She actually thinks I'm trying to save the marriage, but once we have the money, I'm done. With her. With the kid. With all of it. My granddaughter. He was going to leave my granddaughter. So when do I get to see you? The woman's voice turned softer, flirty. Thursday. Denver. I'll text you the hotel. We'll celebrate properly. Denver. Not a business trip, not trying to save his company. A vacation. With money he stole from me. The woman said something I couldn't hear. Ryan laughed again. I love you too, Vanessa. Vanessa, not Claire. I stood there, frozen, the envelope heavy in my hand. Everything he'd told me was a lie. The failing business, the marriage falling apart, the desperation in his voice when he called 3 weeks ago. All of it. Lies. I thought about the last 3 weeks, how he'd called every few days, checking in, asking if I'd made the appointment at the bank yet, sounding so grateful, so broken. How I'd held the phone and cried with him, promised him I'd help, promised him everything would be okay. He'd been performing, every word, every tear, every desperate plea. And I'd believed him. Above me, I heard him moving around. The call must have ended. I had maybe 30 seconds before he came downstairs. 30 seconds to decide what to do. My mind was racing, empty, screaming, silent, all at once. I heard his footsteps on the stairs. I shoved the envelope in my purse, stepped away from the wall, tried to make my face normal. But my hands were shaking. and I couldn't stop them. I heard him end the call. Love you too, Vanessa. See you in Denver Thursday. Vanessa. Not Claire, not his wife. A name I'd never heard before. I stood there under that window for 20 minutes, maybe longer, I don't know. My feet wouldn't move. The envelope was still in my hand, but I couldn't feel it anymore. Above me, I heard him open his laptop, the sound of keys clicking, fast, confident. He was probably transferring the money right now, half to her account. Just like he said. 30 years of my life, moving through wires to a woman I'd never met. I looked down at the envelope. The white paper almost glowed in the dusk light. I thought about Ryan at 7 years old, the day those kids cornered him after school, how he came home crying, how I held him and told him family protects family, always. I taught him that. And now I understood something I didn't want to understand. I had raised him to believe I would always catch him. I never taught him that some falls are supposed to hurt. The front door opened. Ryan's voice, sweet as honey. Mom? That you? I thought I heard your car. I had 10 seconds to decide who I was going to be. I stepped out of the shadows, smiled. Hi, honey. Yes, just got home. Took longer at the bank than I thought. He came down the steps, wrapped his arms around me. He smelled like the same laundry detergent I'd been buying for 20 years. So? His eyes were wide, concerned. Did you get it? I looked at my son, really looked at him. The way his eyebrows pulled together, the slight tremor in his voice. He was good, really good. They need a few days to process. Big amount like that, security protocol, should be ready by Friday. The lie came out smooth, easier than I thought it would. Ryan exhaled. That's fine, Mom. That's totally fine. He squeezed my shoulder. I can't thank you enough. You're saving my life. That's what mothers do. I heard my own voice say it. Calm, steady. Inside my head, his words played on repeat. Mothers like her break. That night I lay in bed. Ryan was in the room next to mine. I heard him typing until 2 a.m. The sound traveled through the wall. Click, click, click. I stared at the ceiling and started adding things up in my head. 5 years ago, $8,000 for a business opportunity. He said he'd pay me back in 6 months. I never saw a penny. Last year, the family vacation, I paid for all of it. 3 months ago, Claire called me, asked about $3,000. Ryan said I gave him. I didn't know what she was talking about. How many times had he done this? How many times had I let him? I was 34 when my husband died. Ryan was 8. We had nothing. Michael's life insurance barely covered the funeral. The accident happened on a Tuesday. By Friday, I was filling out applications at every place that would hire me. I worked 2 jobs, waitress in the mornings, bookkeeper at night. Ryan stayed with the neighbor lady until I got home. He was such a good kid then. He'd do his homework without being asked, he'd set the table, and every night before bed, he'd hug me and say the same thing. When I grow up, I'll take care of you, Mom. I believed him. I remember the night he got sick, 103 fever. I held him all night in the emergency room, his little body shaking. I whispered over and over, I'll never let anything hurt you. And I meant it. Maybe that was the problem. I protected him so much he never learned that things cost something. That money doesn't just appear because you need it. That sacrifice is supposed to mean something. I taught him that love means giving everything. I never taught him that taking everything isn't love at all. The next few days, Ryan stayed at my house, said he needed to work on the new business plan, get everything ready. I started watching him, really watching. Every move had a purpose. Wednesday morning, I logged into my bank account on the computer. Ryan came up behind me, casual, just getting coffee from the kitchen. But I saw him in the reflection of the screen. His eyes on my balance. How much is in there, Mom? I minimized the window. Oh, not much. Just what I need for bills. He nodded. But later that day, he brought it up again. You know, you should really move your savings into a higher yield account. I could help you set that up, get you better returns. I smiled. Maybe. Let me think about it. That's when I remembered. 3 years ago, Ryan helped me move $15,000 into an investment fund. Said it was a great opportunity. Better than letting it sit in savings. I tried to log in last month to check on it. The account was closed. When I asked Ryan about it, he said the fund dissolved, said I'd get a check in the mail. I never got that check. I started seeing the pattern everywhere. Ryan always called right after my pension deposit hit. First of the month, like clockwork. He'd ask how I was doing. Then, somewhere in the conversation, there'd be something he needed. Car repair, utility bill, emergency with Emma. When I'd hesitate, he'd say it. The line that always worked. I thought you trusted me. Dad would have trusted me. And I'd feel it. That twist in my chest. The guilt. So I'd say yes. Last Christmas, Ryan asked if Emma could stay with me for a week. Said he and Claire needed time alone to work on their marriage. I said of course. The day after he dropped Emma off, I got a call from a collection agency, asking about a credit card in my name. $1,700, used at hotels in Denver. I called Ryan. He said it was a mistake. Identity theft. He'd handle it. I believed him. Paid it off myself so it wouldn't hurt my credit. Now I knew. That wasn't identity theft. That was Ryan. And Vanessa. In Denver. And I had paid for it. I started keeping track, writing things down in a notebook I hid under my mattress. Thursday morning, Ryan came downstairs while I was making breakfast, kissed my forehead. "You're the best, Mom." I flipped the eggs, smiled, just trying to help. He scrolled through his phone. "Hey, have you thought about downsizing the house? It's pretty big for just you. Property taxes keep going up. I've lived here 28 years. I know. But think about it. You could sell, get a nice condo. We'd invest the money for your future." I looked at my son. His face was so earnest. "I'll think about it." But I knew exactly where that money would go. That night, I pretended to go to bed early. But I lay there in the dark with my old phone, recording app ready. I heard Ryan's door close, heard him talking. I held the phone near the wall. His voice came through clear enough. "No, she doesn't suspect anything. Stupid woman took out everything. 187,000. A woman's voice, faint, laughing. Then Ryan again. "She gave up everything for me once before. She'll do it again. That's what mothers like her do. They break." I lay there for 3 hours, staring at the ceiling. Mothers like her break. Friday morning, I went through the motions. Made coffee, made toast. Ryan came down already dressed, said he had meetings all day, asked if I needed anything. "No, honey, I'm fine." After he left, I went upstairs to his room, the one he'd been staying in. My hands were shaking when I opened the door. His laptop was on the desk. I didn't touch it, but next to it was a stack of papers. I picked up the top one, business loan application, with a line at the bottom for my signature. But when I read it closer, it wasn't a business loan, it was a reverse mortgage, on my house. If I signed it, Ryan would own controlling interest. He could sell it, refinance it. I'd have no say. I could be forced out of my own home. I took a picture with my phone, put the papers back exactly how I found them. Then I went to his bedside table, opened the drawer. His old phone, the one from 2 years ago. I turned it on, scrolled through messages, most deleted, but some left. From 2022, between Ryan and Vanessa. I'm going to bleed her dry. Then, we disappear. She won't even report it. She loves me too much. I sat on the edge of his bed. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. He'd been doing this for years. And I'd let him. I thought about the last time I'd felt safe. Before Michael died. When Ryan was small, I'd spent 26 years trying to hold on to the only family I had left. But that person didn't exist anymore. Maybe he never did. I put the phone back, closed the drawer, went downstairs, and sat at the kitchen table. My hands were in front of me, the same hands that had worked 2 jobs, that had held Ryan when he was sick, that had signed every check he ever asked for. I whispered to the empty room. When did I become so small? But then something shifted, a thought, clear and cold. No, I didn't become small. He made me feel small. There's a difference. That night, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called a lawyer. When the receptionist asked what kind of case, I couldn't say the words out loud. I just whispered, "It's about my son." The lawyer's name was Linda Marsh. She specialized in elder financial abuse. I'd never thought of myself as elderly. I was 64. I still worked, still drove, still handled my own bills. But sitting in her office that Monday morning, saying the words out loud, I finally heard how bad it was. My son has been taking money from me for years. Now he's trying to get me to sign over my house. Linda didn't look shocked. She just nodded. Took notes. Did you sign any documents? No. The bank hasn't processed the pension withdrawal yet. I told him it would take until Friday. Linda set down her pen. Then you're lucky. You still have time. She leaned forward. But Margaret, I need to be clear with you. If he's done this to you, he's done it before. To others, and he'll do it again. You need to decide. Do you want justice, or do you want peace? I didn't know how to answer. She slid a brochure across the desk. Elder Financial Abuse, it said on the front. Inside, there were statistics, stories. One line stood out. Elder abuse often comes from family members. Victims feel ashamed to report. I felt something break loose in my chest, something I'd been holding in. I started crying, not because I was sad, but because I wasn't alone. Linda handed me a tissue, waited. When I could talk again, I asked, "What do I do?" She looked me straight in the eye. "You have 72 hours before he gets suspicious. Whatever you're going to do it now." I walked out of that office, knowing I had 3 days to disappear from my own life. When I got home, Ryan was sitting on the couch, watching television. "Where were you?" "Grocery shopping." I'd prepared for this. Left a reusable shopping bag in the car that morning. Empty, but he didn't check. He nodded, went back to his show. I went upstairs, closed my bedroom door, opened the top drawer of my dresser, the one that stuck a little, that you had to know how to jiggle. In the back, under old sweaters, was a blue envelope, Michael's will, papers from the lawyer after he died. I hadn't looked at it in years. Inside was a letter, Michael's handwriting, written a month before the accident. "Margaret, if you're reading this and I'm gone, I need you to promise me something. Never let anyone, not even Ryan, make you feel like you owe them your entire life. You are more than a mother. You are Margaret. Remember that." I'd read this once, 26 years ago, then put it away because it hurt too much. But now I needed to hear it. There was another paper in the envelope, a bank statement from a bank I'd forgotten about. Michael had opened an emergency fund, separate from our joint account. After he died, I forgot it existed. Balance, $12,000. I sat on the edge of my bed, money Ryan didn't know about, money that was mine. I grabbed my purse, found the customer service number, called. Yes, the account was still active. Yes, I could access it. I'd need to come in to update my information and get a new debit card. I'll be there tomorrow. That night, I made a plan. Step 1, cancel the pension withdrawal, lock down the account. Step 2, access the $12,000, open a new account Ryan would never find. Step 3, call my sister, the one I hadn't spoken to in 4 years. Ryan and I had a fight about her, back in 2021. He'd asked her for money. She said no, told me Ryan had lied about me needing surgery. I believed Ryan, stopped talking to her. Now I knew. She'd been telling the truth. Wednesday morning, Ryan left early, said he had meetings. I waited until his car was gone. Then I packed my old backpack. 2 changes of clothes, documents, the letter from Michael, 1 photo of Ryan when he was little. I hid the backpack in the garage. Then I drove to the bank. The manager recognized me. "Patricia, we'd known each other 15 years. Mrs. Foster, you're here early. About the withdrawal? I need to cancel it." She looked at me for a long moment. "Is everything okay? You seemed sure on Monday." I leaned forward, kept my voice low. "My son is stealing from me." Patricia didn't gasp, didn't look shocked. She just nodded slowly. "I'll freeze everything. And Mrs. Foster." She handed me her card. Her personal cell number was written on the back. "You're not the first mother to sit in that chair and say those words." We spent an hour going through everything. Canceling the withdrawal, changing passwords, making it so any transaction over $500 required me to be there in person. When we were done, Patricia walked me to the door. "If you need anything, call me." I drove to Michael's bank next. When I left, I had a new account with $12,000 and a cash advance of $5,000 in my purse. In the car, I sat for a minute, hands on the wheel. Then I pulled out my phone, found the number I'd deleted, had to look it up in my old contacts list. I hit call before I could change my mind. It rang 4 times. I almost hung up. Then, "Maggie? Is that you?" My sister's voice. "Beth." I hadn't heard it in 4 years. "Hi, Beth." She didn't say anything for a second. Then, quietly, "It's been 4 years. I know. I'm sorry. I need help." There was a long silence. I thought maybe she'd hang up. But then she said, "Tell me." And I did. I told her everything. About the pension, about the phone call, about Vanessa and the reverse mortgage. My voice broke more than once. When I finished, Beth was quiet. Then she said, "I tried to warn you. 3 years ago. You stopped talking to me after that." "I know. I'm sorry." Beth's voice was steady. "Maggie, come to Phoenix. Stay with me. You'll figure it out from here. What if he finds me? Then we'll deal with it. But you have to leave." "I can't yet. I need to finish at the bank. Make sure everything's locked down." Beth didn't argue. "Then you have 48 hours. I'll book you a bus ticket. Saturday morning. Don't tell him. Don't leave a note. Just go." I sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes after we hung up. Then I drove home. Ryan's car was in the driveway. I walked in through the front door. Ryan was at the kitchen table, laptop open. He looked up when he heard me. "Where were you?" "Had some errands to run." He nodded, went back to typing, but I could feel him watching me out of the corner of his eye. I made myself a sandwich, ate it slowly, like nothing was different. That night, Ryan asked me to look at something. He slid a paper across the table. "Just a formality, Mom. The bank needs your signature for the loan." I picked it up, scanned it. The same reverse mortgage document I'd photographed days ago. "Let me read it carefully tomorrow. I'm tired tonight." Ryan's jaw tightened. Just for a second. Then he smiled. "Sure, Mom. No rush." But his eyes were cold. I went to bed early, lay there in the dark, my phone next to me. Ellen had texted. "Bus ticket confirmed. Saturday, 6 a.m. Station on 5th Street. I'll meet you in Phoenix." I stared at that message for a long time. 48 hours. I could do this. Thursday morning, Ryan left at 7. I waited until his car disappeared around the corner. Then I called Linda. I told her everything. About the banks, about Ellen, about the bus ticket Saturday morning. She listened. Then she said, "Good, you're doing the right thing. But Margaret, once you leave, you can't come back. Not for a while. Do you understand that?" "I understand." "Do you have everything you need? Documents? Money?" "Yes." Linda was quiet for a moment. Then, "He's going to be angry. When he finds out, he's going to call you, text you, maybe even come looking for you." "I know. Don't respond. Not to anything. And if he shows up at Ellen's, call the police. Don't try to handle it yourself." "I won't." After I hung up, I sat at the kitchen table. The same table where Michael and I used to have breakfast, where Ryan did his homework as a kid, where I'd signed every check Ryan ever asked for. I thought about all the years, all the times I said yes when I should have said no. Michael's letter was in my purse. I took it out. Read it again. "You are more than a mother. You are Margaret. Remember that." I whispered to the empty room. "I'm trying to remember." That afternoon, Ryan came home early. He seemed nervous, kept checking his phone. "Everything okay?" He looked up. "Yeah, fine. Just waiting on some calls." He disappeared upstairs. I heard his voice through the ceiling, muffled, angry. An hour later, he came back down, calmer. "Hey, Mom. I'm going to head out tomorrow. Got some business in Denver. I'll be back Sunday." Denver, where Vanessa was. "Okay, honey. Drive safe." He hugged me, held on a little longer than usual. "Thanks for everything. You're saving my life." I hugged him back, felt his heartbeat against my cheek. And I thought, This might be the last time I ever hold my son. But I didn't cry, because I'd made my choice. Friday morning, I woke up before Ryan, heard him moving around upstairs, heard him leave at 8. I waited 10 minutes. Then I went to the garage, got my backpack. I had 18 hours until the bus. I made dinner, set the table, called Ryan down at 6:30. He came, sat across from me, barely touched his food. The silence was heavy, thick. I could feel him watching me. Finally, he spoke. I talked to Claire today. Oh? She's filing for divorce. I'm sorry, Ryan. He laughed, short, bitter. Are you? Because it feels like you don't care about any of this. My business is failing, my marriage is over, and you won't even help me. I have helped you. For years. Not enough. The words hung between us. I set down my fork. What would be enough, Ryan? He looked at me, his eyes cold. Everything. That's what family does. They give everything. I thought about Michael's letter. You are more than a mother. You are Margaret. I'm giving what I can. Ryan stood up, pushed his chair back. That's not good enough. He went upstairs. I heard his door close, heard him on the phone, voice low, angry. I cleaned up the dishes, washed them slowly, hands in the warm water, trying to stay calm. At 7:15, I heard Ryan's door open. He came downstairs, car keys in hand. I'm going out. Don't wait up. Okay. He left. The front door closed. His car started, drove away. I waited 5 minutes, made sure he was really gone. Then I moved. Grabbed the backpack from under my bed, my purse, the envelope with the cash, Michael's letter. I went to the garage, got in my car, backed out slowly, no headlights until I was down the street. The bus station was 20 minutes away. I got there at 7:45, parked in the back lot, away from the lights. I sat in my car for a minute, looking at my house keys. My life was on that key ring. House, car, the storage unit where I kept Michael's things. I took the house key off, set it on the passenger seat. Then I got out, locked the car, walked to the station. The bus didn't leave until 9. I had over an hour to wait. I bought a ticket to Phoenix, one way. The woman at the counter barely looked at me. I sat in the waiting area, clutched my backpack, watched the clock. 8:15. I pulled out my phone, looked at it. 73 messages from Ryan. Starting at 7:30. Where are you, Mom? Answer your phone. Your car is gone. Where did you go? Mom, I'm coming home. You better be there. I swear to God if you left. You can't do this. You can't just leave. I need that money. You owe me that money. I read them all. Every single one. The tone changed as they went. Started desperate, turned angry, then threatening. The last one came at 8:25. I know where Beth lives. I'll find you. My hands shook. I turned off my phone, put it in my backpack. A woman sat down next to me. Older, maybe 70. She smiled. Going far? Phoenix. Nice this time of year. Visiting family? My sister. That's wonderful. She seemed kind, safe. We sat in silence for a minute. Then she said something that made me want to cry. You look like you're running from something. I looked at her. This stranger. I am. She nodded. Didn't ask questions, just patted my hand. Sometimes running is the bravest thing you can do. At 8:45, they called for boarding. I stood up, grabbed my bag, got in line. That's when I saw it. Ryan's car, pulling into the parking lot. My heart stopped. He got out, looked around, frantic, searching. I turned away, pulled my hood up, kept my head down. The line moved forward. I handed my ticket to the driver, stepped onto the bus, found a seat in the back, by the window. I watched Ryan through the glass. He was at the station entrance now, looking inside, looking for me. The bus door closed. The engine started. Ryan saw the bus, started running toward it. But we were already moving. I watched him get smaller, standing there in the parking lot, hands on his head, yelling something I couldn't hear. Then we turned the corner, and he was gone. I sat back in my seat, closed my eyes. It was done. The woman from the waiting area was sitting across the aisle. She looked at me, smiled gently. "You made it." I nodded, couldn't speak, couldn't cry, just sat there. The bus drove through the night, out of the city, past the places I knew, into darkness. I opened my phone, turned it back on. 128 messages now, 12 voicemails. I didn't read them, didn't listen. I opened a new message, typed, "Beth, I'm on the bus, see you in the morning." Her response came immediately. "Thank God, I'll be at the station. You're safe now, Maggie, you're safe." I stared at that message. You're safe now. Was I? I thought about Ryan, how he'd chased the bus, how he'd looked when he realized I was gone. Part of me felt guilty, like I'd abandoned him, like I'd failed as a mother. But another part of me, the part that was growing stronger, that part knew the truth. I didn't abandon him. I saved myself. At 10:30, the bus stopped at a rest area. People got off to use the bathroom, get coffee. I stayed in my seat. The kind woman came back with 2 cups, handed me one. "Thought you might need this." "Thank you." We sat in comfortable silence. Then she asked, "What's your name?" "Margaret." "I'm Dorothy." She sipped her coffee. "Can I tell you something, Margaret?" "Sure." "I left my husband 30 years ago. He was bleeding me dry. Not just money, everything." She looked at me. "Sometimes the life you save is your own." The bus started moving again. Dorothy fell asleep an hour later. I stayed awake, watched the darkness pass by outside. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something I didn't expect. Peace. Small, fragile, but real. At 3 in the morning, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, I whispered to the dark window, "I am more than a mother. I am Margaret." And I finally believed it. The bus pulled into Phoenix at 7:15 in the morning. I was exhausted, hadn't slept, but I felt strangely alert, like I'd crossed some invisible line and couldn't go back. Beth was waiting at the station. I saw her before she saw me, standing by her car, looking worried, checking her phone. She looked older, gray hair now, lines around her eyes. But when she saw me, her whole face changed. "Maggie." We hugged. I started crying, not sad crying, relief crying. She held me for a long time, didn't say anything, just held me. Finally, she pulled back, looked at me. "Let's get you home." Her house was small, 1 story, desert landscaping, clean, simple. She showed me to the guest room. "It's not much, but it's yours as long as you need it." "Thank you." She made coffee. We sat at her kitchen table, the morning sun coming through the window. "Did he try to contact you?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the messages, over 200 now. Beth scrolled through them. Her face got harder with each one. "You need to block his number." "I know." She looked at me. "I mean it, Maggie. Block him. Delete the messages. Don't read them. Don't respond. Nothing. What if it's an emergency?" "It won't be. It'll be manipulation. That's all he knows how to do." She was right. I knew she was right. I took the phone, blocked Ryan's number, deleted all the messages, even the old ones. It felt like cutting off a limb. Beth squeezed my hand. "You did the right thing." "Then why does it hurt so much?" "Because you loved him. And love doesn't just stop, even when it should." I slept for 14 hours. When I woke up, it was dark outside again. Wednesday night. Beth had left a note on the nightstand. "Went to work, food in the fridge, rest. You're safe here." I got up, made tea, sat in Beth's living room. My phone was still off. I'd left it that way. But part of me wanted to turn it on. Check if Ryan had tried other ways to reach me. I didn't. Instead, I opened my laptop, checked my email. 47 new messages, most of them from Ryan's email address. I read the subject lines. "Mom, please, we need to talk. I'm sorry. Please come home. You don't understand. Final warning." The last one had been sent 6 hours ago. I clicked on it. "Mom, I know you're in Phoenix. I know you're with Beth. I'm driving there tomorrow. We're going to talk. You can't just throw away our relationship like this. I'm your son. You owe me a conversation. I'll be there by Friday evening." My hands went cold. He was coming here. I called Beth at work, told her. She didn't hesitate. We'll deal with it. I'll call Linda. We'll get a restraining order. He can't just show up here. What if he does anyway? Then we call the police. I hung up, stared at the screen. Friday evening. That gave me 2 days. 2 days to decide if I was going to face him or hide. Thursday morning, Linda called. Margaret, Beth told me what's happening. We need to file for a restraining order today. Can you come to my office? I'm in Phoenix. I know. I have a colleague there. Her name is Sarah Mitchell. She specializes in elder abuse cases. I've already sent her your file. She can see you this afternoon. Okay. And Margaret, do not be alone when Ryan shows up. Do you understand? Stay with Beth, or stay somewhere public. Do not let him corner you. I won't. Beth drove me to Sarah's office at 2, a small building downtown. Sarah was younger than I expected, maybe 40. But her eyes were steady, kind. She read through my file. All the documentation I'd given Linda, the recordings, the photos of the reverse mortgage, the text messages. When she finished, she looked at me. This is enough. We can file for a temporary restraining order today. It'll be in effect by tomorrow morning. He won't be able to come within 500 feet of you or Beth's house. What if he does anyway? Then, he'll be arrested. She started the paperwork, asked me questions, made me tell the story again. It got easier each time, like I was talking about someone else's life. By 4 o'clock, it was done. She'd filed everything electronically. The judge would review it tonight. I'd have an answer by morning. Beth took me to dinner, a small Mexican place near her house. We sat in a booth in the back. I picked at my food, couldn't eat. Beth reached across the table, held my hand. You're doing the right thing. Am I? He's my son. He's an adult who's been stealing from you for years. There's a difference between being a mother and being a victim. I know. But it doesn't feel that way. That's because you've been trained to feel guilty. He's been doing it for so long you don't even see it anymore. She was right. I knew she was right. We got home at 6:30. I went to the guest room, lay down on the bed. My phone buzzed. A new email. From Ryan. Subject line. Tomorrow. I almost didn't open it. But I did. Mom, I'm leaving in an hour. I'll be there by tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. I'm not asking permission. I'm your son. You don't get to just cut me out of your life. We're going to talk, and you're going to listen. See you tomorrow. I showed Beth. She called Sarah immediately. Told her. Sarah's voice was calm. The restraining order will be active by tomorrow morning. If he shows up at the house, call 911. Don't answer the door. Don't talk to him. Just call the police. What if he doesn't come to the house? What if he finds me somewhere else? Then you call 911. Margaret, he's counting on you being too afraid to involve the authorities. Don't give him that power. After we hung up, Beth looked at me. Do you want to stay somewhere else tomorrow? A hotel? Friend's house? No. I'm tired of running. She nodded. Okay. Then we stay here. Together. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, listened to the sounds of Beth's house, the air conditioning, the hum of the refrigerator, the occasional car passing outside. At 2 a.m, I got up, went to the kitchen, made tea. Beth was already there, sitting at the table. Couldn't sleep either? No. We sat in silence for a while. Then she said something I'll never forget. When you were kids, you used to protect me, remember? When Dad got angry, you'd step in front of me, take the heat. You were always the strong one. I don't feel strong now. But you are. Beth's eyes were serious. You left, that's strength. And tomorrow, when he shows up, you're not going to open that door. That's strength too. What if I want to open it? Then I'll stop you. She smiled. That's what sisters do. Friday morning. The restraining order came through. Sarah emailed me a copy. 500 feet, no contact, in effect for 6 months. I forwarded it to Ryan's email. Got a response, 30 seconds later. You're really doing this? You're really choosing strangers over your own son? I didn't reply. Beth and I spent the day inside. Doors locked, curtains drawn. At noon, Sarah called. He's in Phoenix. His phone pinged a cell tower near the airport. He's here. How do you know? I have a contact at the police department. They're tracking his phone because of the restraining order, just in case. My stomach turned. He's really coming. Yes, but you're ready. At 3 o'clock, Beth made lunch. I couldn't eat, just sat at the table, watching the clock. Every car that passed, I tensed. At 5:45, a car pulled up outside, parked across the street. Ryan's car. Beth called 911 immediately. There's someone outside my house. I have a restraining order against him. He's not supposed to be here. The dispatcher was calm. Officers are on the way. Stay inside. Do not engage. We watched from the window. Ryan got out of his car, looked at Beth's house, started walking toward it. He's coming, I whispered. Beth grabbed my arm. Don't go outside. Don't say anything. Ryan walked up to the front door, knocked. Mom, I know you're in there. Open the door. We didn't move. He knocked again, harder. Mom, we need to talk. Just 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. Beth held my hand. Don't. Mom, please. His voice cracked. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I just need to explain. Please. I felt it. That pull, that instinct to fix things, to make it better. Beth saw my face. No, Maggie, don't. Ryan's voice changed. Got harder. Fine. If you're going to be like this, then fine. But you're making a mistake. You're going to regret this. He kicked the door. Once. Twice. Then we heard sirens. Ryan heard them too. Stopped. Looked around. 2 police cars pulled up. Officers got out. Sir, step away from the door. Ryan turned. His hands up. I'm just trying to talk to my mother. You have a restraining order, sir. You need to leave. Now. She's my mother. I have a right to see her. No, sir, you don't. Not anymore. They put him in handcuffs. Walked him to the car. Ryan looked at the house. Looked right at the window where we were standing. His face twisted. Angry. Hurt. This isn't over, Mom. You hear me? This isn't over. They put him in the back of the police car. Drove away. I sank to the floor. My legs gave out. Beth sat down next to me. Held me while I cried. Not sad crying, not relieved crying. Just crying. For everything. For the son I'd lost. For the mother I used to be. For the 38 years I'd spent trying to hold us together. An officer knocked on the door 20 minutes later. Took our statements. Told us Ryan would be held overnight. Charged with violating the restraining order. He'll have a hearing Monday morning. You can testify if you want. Do I have to? No. But it would help. I'll think about it. After the officers left, Beth and I sat on the couch, exhausted. She looked at me. You did it. You stood your ground. I don't feel like I won. You didn't win, but you survived, and sometimes that's enough. Saturday morning, Sarah called. He's out on bail. But the judge extended the restraining order. He's not allowed in Arizona until after the hearing Monday. Where is he now? He drove back last night. His phone pinged near the California border around 3 a.m. I hung up. He was out there, angry. Beth made breakfast. We ate in silence. Finally, she asked, Are you going to testify Monday? I don't know. Sarah said you don't have to. They have enough evidence without you. The violation, the arrest, the recordings you made. I know. But part of me wants to. Part of me wants him to hear it. From me, what he did, what it cost. Beth looked at me for a long moment. Then you should. What if I can't do it? What if I get up there and just fall apart? Then you fall apart. But at least you tried. Sunday, I stayed inside, rested, tried to prepare. Sarah had sent me questions she might ask. I practiced my answers. That last one made me cry every time. Monday morning, Beth drove me to the courthouse. Sarah met us outside. He's here, with a lawyer. They're going to argue that this is a family matter, that you overreacted, that he was just trying to talk to you. What do I say? You tell the truth. That's all you can do. We walked inside. Through security. Ryan was sitting outside the courtroom with his lawyer. When he saw me, he stood up. His lawyer held him back. Ryan's face was hard, angry, but underneath, fear. We didn't speak, just looked at each other. Then Sarah led me into the courtroom. The hearing started at 10. The judge read through the file. Mr. Foster, you violated a restraining order. Do you deny any of this? Ryan's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client was simply trying to reconcile with his mother. This is a family matter. The judge looked at Ryan over her glasses. Actually, Mr. Foster, you don't have that right. Not with a restraining order. She looked at me. Mrs. Foster, would you like to make a statement? Sarah nodded at me. I stood up. My voice shook at first, but then it got stronger. Your Honor, my son has been taking money from me for years. I thought I was helping him, but I wasn't. I was enabling him. And when I finally tried to protect myself, he became threatening. He told me I owed him, that I didn't have the right to say no. That's why I left. That's why I got the restraining order. Not because I don't love him, but because I finally love myself enough to set boundaries. The courtroom was quiet. The judge nodded. Thank you, Mrs. Foster. She looked at Ryan. Mr. Foster, I'm extending this restraining order for 1 year. You are not to contact your mother. Not by phone, not by email, not through third parties. If you violate this order again, you will go to jail. Do you understand? Ryan's jaw clenched. Yes, Your Honor. This hearing is adjourned. It was over in 20 minutes. Sarah walked me out. You did great. I don't feel great. You will. Give it time. Ryan was still in the hallway. His lawyer was talking to him. Low, urgent. Ryan looked at me as I walked past. His eyes were wet, angry, and sad at the same time. He didn't say anything, just watched me leave. Outside, Beth hugged me. It's done. He can't hurt you now. But I didn't feel relief. I felt hollow. We drove back to Beth's house. I went to the guest room, lay down, stared at the ceiling. I'd done it. I'd stood up to my son in court. I'd protected myself. So why did I feel so empty? That night, Sarah called. I wanted you to know. Ryan left the courthouse and went straight to the police station, turned himself in. For what? Wire fraud. Apparently, you weren't the only one. He'd been running the same scam on 3 other elderly women. They came forward after your case made the local news. He's being charged. Could face 5 to 10 years. I felt sick. He's going to prison? Maybe. Depends on if he takes a plea deal. But Margaret, this is important. You didn't destroy him. He destroyed himself. You just stopped helping him hide it. After we hung up, I sat in the dark. 3 other women. How many years had he been doing this? Beth knocked on my door, came in. I heard. Are you okay? I don't know. Part of me feels guilty. It's not. But I raised him. You raised him to be kind, to be loved. He chose to twist that into something else. That's on him, not you. She was right. Logically, I knew she was right. But my heart didn't believe it yet. That would take time. Beth stood up. Get some rest. Tomorrow we start figuring out what comes next. What does come next? Whatever you want. That's the beautiful part. You get to decide now. After she left, I lay in the dark. For 38 years, I'd built my life around being Ryan's mother. Now, I had to figure out who Margaret was. And I had no idea where to start. The next 2 weeks, I stayed inside, kept the curtains closed, didn't go out unless Beth was with me. I felt like I was hiding, and I hated it. But every time I thought about leaving the house alone, I imagined Ryan waiting, watching, following me. The restraining order said he couldn't come within 500 feet. But restraining orders are just paper. They don't stop someone who's determined. Beth tried to get me to go places. Coffee shops, the grocery store, a movie. I said no every time. One afternoon, she sat me down at the kitchen table. Maggie, you can't live like this. Like what? Like you're in prison. He's the one who did something wrong, not you. I know, but I'm still the one who's scared. Then we need to do something about that. She called Sarah, asked if there was anything else we could do. Sarah suggested I change my phone number, get a P.O. box instead of using Beth's address for mail. Open new bank accounts with different banks than the ones I'd used before. Make it harder for him to find you. So that's what I did. New phone number, new email address. Everything connected to Margaret Foster disappeared, and in its place, I used my middle name. Margaret Ann became Ann Walker. It felt strange, like I was erasing myself. But it also felt necessary. By the end of the third week, I started to feel a little safer. Ryan hadn't tried to contact me, hadn't shown up. The restraining order seemed to be working. Sarah called with an update. Ryan took a plea deal, wire fraud, 3 years probation, has to pay restitution to the women he scammed, including you. How much? She named a number, $53,000, based on what they could prove he took from you in the last 5 years. Not even a third of what he'd actually taken, but something. Will I actually see that money? Probably not. He doesn't have it. He'll make payments, but it'll take years. I didn't care about the money anymore. I just wanted him to leave me alone. One morning, I woke up and realized I'd slept through the whole night. No nightmares, no waking up in a panic. Just sleep. It was the first time in a month. I got up, made coffee, sat on Beth's back porch. The sun was coming up, desert sky turning pink and orange. It was beautiful. Beth came out, handed me a piece of paper. What's this? An address. There's an apartment complex about 10 minutes from here. Small place, 1 bedroom. The manager is a friend of mine. She said you can look at it today if you want. I'm not ready. You don't have to take it. Just look. I held the paper, looked at the address. Maybe Beth was right. Maybe it was time to stop hiding. That afternoon, we drove to the apartment. It was small, clean, 2nd floor, with a balcony that faced the mountains. The manager showed me around, explained the lease, security deposit, first and last month. I can afford this, I thought. With the money from Michael's emergency fund, with my pension that I'd finally been able to access again. I can actually do this. I'll take it. The manager smiled. Great, you can move in next week. Next week, 7 days. 7 days until I had my own place, my own space, my own life. For the first time since I left, I felt like I could breathe. I moved into the apartment on a Saturday. Beth helped me. We didn't have much to move, just the things I'd brought on the bus. Some clothes Beth had bought me. A few kitchen items from a thrift store. The apartment came furnished. A couch, a bed, a small dining table, everything I needed. Nothing extra. It was perfect. That first night, I sat on the balcony, watched the sun set over the mountains. The sky turned orange, then purple, then dark blue. I was alone, really alone, for the first time in my entire life. No husband, no son, no one depending on me, no one expecting anything. I didn't know if I should feel free or terrified. Both, maybe. The next morning, Beth came by with coffee and donuts. She looked around the apartment, smiled. It looks good, Maggie. I like it. She sat on the couch. How does it feel? Strange. Good strange, but strange. You're allowed to feel however you feel. There's no right way to do this. We sat in silence for a minute. Then she asked the question I'd been avoiding. Have you thought about what you're going to do? For work? For purpose? I shook my head. Not yet. I'm still figuring out how to just exist. That's okay. But when you're ready, I know a bookstore that's hiring. Small place. Nothing fancy. But the owner is nice, and it might be good to have something to do. I'll think about it. A week later, I went to the bookstore, Desert Pages. It was tucked between a coffee shop and a vintage clothing store. Small windows, wooden shelves packed with books. The owner was a woman named Maria, maybe 70, gray hair in a bun, reading glasses on a chain. She looked up when I walked in. Can I help you find something? I'm looking for the owner. My sister said you might be hiring. Maria smiled. Your sister is Beth? Yes. She told me you might come by. She came around the counter, extended her hand. I'm Maria. I'm Margaret. I hesitated. Well, I go by Anne now. Maria didn't ask why, just nodded. Nice to meet you, Anne. Have you worked in a bookstore before? No, but I like to read, and I'm good with people. That's all I need. Maria handed me an apron. Want to try a shift? See if you like it? Now? Why not? I worked until 5 that day, helped customers, shelved books, learned the register. By the end, my feet hurt and I smelled like old paper. It was the best I'd felt in months. Maria paid me cash for the day, told me I could start Monday if I wanted. I wanted. The next few weeks fell into a routine. Wake up, coffee on the balcony, work at the bookstore, home, dinner, read, sleep. It was simple, quiet. But it was mine. One afternoon, an older woman came into the store looking for a book about starting over after divorce. I helped her find options. We talked about life, about change. When she left, she smiled. "You sound like you know something about starting over." "I do." "Well, you're doing great. Keep going." A stranger's encouragement. It stayed with me. That night, I sat on my balcony. The desert air was cool. The stars were bright. I thought about Michael, about his letter, about the words I'd read so many times. "You are more than a mother. You are Margaret." I whispered to the dark. "I'm learning who that is." And for the first time, I believed I could actually figure it out. A month after I moved in, I got an email. From Claire. "Margaret, I hope it's okay that I'm writing. I wanted to let you know that Emma asks about you. She misses you. I've told her that sometimes families need space. But she doesn't really understand. I don't know if you want contact, but if you do, maybe we could arrange something. No pressure. Just wanted you to know you're missed. Claire." I stared at that email for an hour. Emma, my granddaughter, 7 years old now. I hadn't seen her in almost 2 months. Part of me wanted to say yes immediately, to see her, to hold her, to be grandma again. But another part of me was afraid that contact with Emma meant contact with Ryan, afraid that I couldn't handle it yet. I wrote back. "Claire, thank you for reaching out. I miss Emma too, more than I can say, but I need more time. I hope you understand. Maybe someday, but not yet. Please tell her I love her. Margaret." I hit send before I could change my mind. Then I closed my laptop, sat in the quiet of my apartment. Someday, I thought, maybe someday, but not today. Today, I was still learning how to be just me. 3 months after I left, Sarah called. "There's a hearing. The restitution case. You're one of 4 victims testifying. The judge wants to hear from everyone Ryan defrauded. It's your chance to speak, publicly, if you want to." "When?" 2 weeks from Thursday, in California. I can arrange for you to appear via video if you don't want to travel." I thought about it. Video felt easier, safer, but also incomplete. "No, I'll be there, in person." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." I told Beth that night. She didn't try to talk me out of it, just asked if I wanted her to come with me. "Yes, please." We flew to California the day before. Got a hotel near the courthouse. I barely slept. The hearing was at 9 in the morning. Sarah met us in the lobby. "Are you ready?" "No, but I'm here anyway." She smiled. "That's all that matters." The courtroom was bigger than I expected. Wood paneling, high ceilings, rows of benches. Ryan was already there, at the defendant's table, with his lawyer. He looked thinner, older. His suit was wrinkled, hair uncombed. He saw me walk in. Our eyes met for just a second. Then he looked away. 3 other women were there, the other victims. We sat in the front row. None of us spoke to each other, but we didn't need to. We all knew why we were there. The judge entered. Everyone stood. She was younger than I expected, maybe 50. Sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression. "Be seated." The hearing began. Ryan's lawyer went first. Talked about Ryan's difficult childhood, his mental health struggles, how he was getting help now, how he was committed to making things right. It all sounded rehearsed, empty. Then it was our turn. The first woman went up. Her name was Diane, 72. He'd taken $40,000, told her he was starting a charity for veterans. There was no charity. She cried when she spoke. The second woman was Patricia, 60 years old. Ryan had convinced her to invest $65,000 in a business that never existed. She was angry. Said Ryan had stolen more than money. He'd stolen her trust. The third woman was Ruth, 80. Ryan had befriended her at church, asked her to invest $90,000 in medical equipment. She lost everything, had to move into assisted living. When it was my turn, I walked to the front. The judge looked at me. State your name for the record. Margaret Foster. And you're here regarding restitution from Ryan Foster? Yes, Your Honor. Please proceed. I looked at Ryan. He was staring at the table. I started talking. Ryan is my son. I raised him alone after his father died. I worked 2 jobs, sacrificed everything to give him a good life. And for most of his life, I thought I'd succeeded. I told them about the pension, the phone call, the reverse mortgage, the lies about the business, about Vanessa. I told them about the $15,000 that disappeared, the credit card debt in my name, the money I gave him for Emma's school, for car repairs, for emergencies that never existed. I told them how he isolated me from my sister, how he made me feel guilty every time I hesitated, how he used my love as a weapon. By the time I finished, my voice was steady, strong, but my hands were shaking. I looked at Ryan again. He still wouldn't meet my eyes. Your Honor, I don't know if I'll ever see the money he took. And honestly, that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want him to understand that what he did wasn't just theft. It was betrayal. He didn't just take my savings. He took my sense of safety, my ability to trust, my relationship with my granddaughter. I took a breath. I loved him. I still do. That's the worst part. You don't stop loving your child just because they hurt you. But I can't let that love destroy me. So I had to leave. I had to choose myself, and I don't regret it. I looked at Ryan one more time. I hope someday he understands what he's done, not just to me, but to all of us. We weren't strangers, we were people who trusted him, and he used that trust to take everything. I sat down. The courtroom was silent. Then the judge spoke. Mr. Foster, do you have anything to say to these women? Ryan stood. His lawyer whispered something. Ryan shook his head. He looked at us. At Diane, at Patricia, at Ruth, at me. His voice was quiet, rough. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. I know it's not enough, but I am sorry. Diane scoffed. Ruth looked away. Patricia crossed her arms. I just stared at him. Sorry wasn't enough. It never would be. The judge looked at Ryan. Her expression was hard. Mr. Foster, you systematically defrauded 4 elderly women. One of them was your own mother. She picked up a document. I'm ordering you to pay full restitution, $248,000, monthly payments of $1,000. If you miss a payment, you'll serve jail time. Ryan's face went pale. Additionally, I'm extending the restraining orders for all 4 women. If you violate this, you will go to prison. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. The judge closed the file. You've caused immeasurable harm, not just financially, but emotionally. They trusted you, and you betrayed that trust. Apologies mean nothing without change. And I see no evidence of change here today. Court is adjourned. The gavel came down. Outside, the 4 of us stood together. Diane, Patricia, Ruth, me. Patricia spoke first. Well, that's that. Ruth nodded. At least he can't do it to anyone else. Diane looked at me. How are you holding up? I don't know. I feel like I should feel something. Relief, victory, something. But I just feel tired. Patricia put her hand on my shoulder. That's normal. Justice doesn't feel like we think it will. We exchanged phone numbers, promised to stay in touch, knowing we probably wouldn't. But it didn't matter. We'd stood together, spoken our truth, and that was enough. Beth and I flew home the next day. On the plane? She asked. Do you feel better, now that it's over? I looked out the window, at the clouds, at the vast sky. It's not over. Not really. I'll be dealing with this for the rest of my life, but maybe now I can start to heal. Beth squeezed my hand. That's all we can ask for. When we landed in Phoenix, I turned on my phone. One new email. From Ryan. I almost deleted it without reading, but something stopped me. I opened it. Mom, I know I'm not supposed to contact you. I'll delete this email address after I send this. But I needed to say something. You were right. About everything. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know. I'm getting help. Real help. Not just therapy because the court ordered it, but because I need it. I don't know if I'll ever be the son you deserved. But I'm trying to be better than the person I was. I'm sorry. For all of it. I hope someday you can have a life without this shadow over you. You deserve that. Ryan. I read it twice. Then I deleted it. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. I couldn't carry him anymore. Not his guilt, not his apology, not his journey to be better. That was his to carry. Mine was to heal. 6 months went by. I kept working at the bookstore, started taking on more hours. Maria taught me how to order inventory, how to manage the register, how to recommend books to customers who didn't know what they wanted. I was good at it. Better than I expected. One afternoon, a young mother came in with her daughter, maybe 8 years old. The same age Emma would be now. The girl was looking for a book about grandmothers, for a school project. I helped her find one, watched her flip through the pages, smiling at the pictures. The mother thanked me. They left. I stood there for a long time after, thinking about Emma, wondering if she thought about me, wondering if Claire had told her why I left, wondering if she hated me for it. I still got emails from Claire sometimes. Updates. Emma started 3rd grade. Emma lost her first tooth. Emma made the soccer team. I read every one. Never responded. Didn't know what to say. But I kept them. In a folder on my computer, labeled Emma. Someday, maybe. When I was ready. When she was ready. But not yet. Life in Phoenix became routine. Comfortable. I had my apartment. My job. Beth came over for dinner twice a week. We'd cook, watch old movies, talk about nothing important. It was quiet. Simple. And slowly, I realized I wasn't waiting for something to happen anymore. Wasn't looking over my shoulder. Wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes to see if Ryan had found a way to contact me. I was just living. One morning, I woke up and realized I hadn't thought about Ryan in 3 days. It felt like a milestone. Small, but significant. I made coffee, sat on my balcony, watched the sunrise. The desert was beautiful in the morning, everything golden. Still. I thought about Michael's letter, the one I'd read so many times I had it memorized. You are more than a mother. You are Margaret. I finally understood what he meant. 9 months after the hearing, I got a call from Patricia, the bank manager from my old town. Mrs. Foster, I thought you should know. Your son tried to open a credit card using your information last week. He was flagged by our fraud department. We reported it to the authorities. I felt my stomach drop. He's still doing it? He was. But he won't anymore. He's been arrested, violating his probation. Oh. I just wanted you to know. You don't have to do anything. It's already been handled. Thank you for telling me. After we hung up, I sat on my balcony, stared at the mountains. Ryan was in jail, because he couldn't stop, even after everything, even after the hearing, the restraining orders, the probation. He'd tried again. I should have felt something. Satisfaction, vindication, something. But I just felt empty. A week later, Sarah called. Ryan's probation was revoked. He's serving 2 years, wire fraud, multiple violations. 2 years. I thought about that. 2 years in prison. For stealing from his own mother, from 3 other women who'd trusted him. It wasn't justice. Not really. But it was consequence. And maybe that was enough. I didn't tell anyone except Beth. Didn't post about it, didn't celebrate. I just let it be. Ryan made his choices, and now he was living with them. That wasn't my responsibility anymore. My responsibility was to keep healing, keep building, keep becoming the person I was meant to be all along. The loudest justice is the one that doesn't say a word. A year after I left, I adopted a dog. His name was Charlie, 9 years old, a mutt from the shelter, brown and gray, one ear flopped down. Nobody wanted him because he was old, had some health issues, needed medication twice a day. But when I walked past his kennel, he looked at me, just looked, like he understood. I took him home that day. Charlie became my companion. He slept at the foot of my bed, sat with me on the balcony in the mornings, walked with me to the bookstore and back. He didn't ask for much, just food, water, a place to rest, someone to be there. I understood that. We were both starting over, both learning how to trust again, both figuring out what it meant to just exist without constantly proving we deserved to. One morning, I was sitting on the balcony, Charlie's head on my lap, the sun coming up, and I realized something. I was happy. Not ecstatic, not jumping for joy, just quietly, steadily happy. For the first time in longer than I could remember, I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop, wasn't bracing for disaster, wasn't trying to fix someone else's problems. I was just here, in this moment, with this dog, in this life I'd built. And it was enough. 18 months after I left, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Margaret? It's Claire. Claire, Ryan's ex-wife. Hi. I got your number from Beth. Emma's been asking about you. A lot. I think she's old enough now to understand. Would you want to see her? I couldn't speak for a second. I'm here. I don't know if that's a good idea. Emma deserves to know her grandmother, the real you. What did Ryan tell her? That you chose to leave, that you didn't care about family. Claire's voice was soft, but I told her the truth, that sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices to stay safe, and that you leaving had nothing to do with her. I think she needs to hear it from you. I sat down. Charlie came over, put his head on my knee. Where is Ryan now? Still in prison. He has another year, and when he gets out, he's not allowed contact with me or Emma. Restraining order, so you don't have to worry about seeing him. When were you thinking? Next month. We're driving to Phoenix for spring break. We could meet somewhere, public, wherever you feel comfortable. I thought about it. Thought about Emma. The last time I saw her, she was 6. Blonde pigtails, missing her front teeth. She'd be 9 now. Almost 10. Okay, let's do it. Really? Really. We made plans. A park near my apartment. Neutral ground. Beth would come with me. Claire would bring Emma. 1 hour, just to see how it went. After we hung up, I sat on my balcony. Watched the sun set. Charlie curled up next to me. I was terrified and hopeful, both at once. The day came. Beth drove me to the park. I saw them before they saw me. Claire and Emma. Emma was tall now. Her hair was longer. She was wearing a purple jacket, sneakers with stars on them. She looked so much like Ryan at that age. Same eyes, same smile. My chest hurt. Claire saw me first, waved, said something to Emma. Emma looked over. For a second, we just looked at each other, grandmother and granddaughter, strangers who used to be family. Then Emma walked over, slow at first, then faster. She stopped a few feet away. Hi, Grandma. Hi, sweetheart. Mom said you had to go away for a while, to be safe. That's right. She said it wasn't because of me. It wasn't, not at all. I got down on one knee, so we were eye level. I left because I had to take care of myself. But I never stopped thinking about you, not for one day. Emma looked at me, then at Beth, then back at me. Can I hug you? Of course. She wrapped her arms around me, and I held her. This little girl who I'd missed so much, who I'd left behind to save myself. We spent the hour at the park, walking, talking. Emma told me about school, about soccer, about her friends, about the book she was reading. She asked me about Phoenix, about my apartment, about Charlie. She asked if she could meet him someday. I said yes. When it was time to go, Emma hugged me again, whispered in my ear. I missed you, Grandma. I missed you too, baby. Claire thanked me, said we could do this again. If I wanted, I wanted. They drove away. Beth and I sat on a bench, watched the sky turn orange. How do you feel? I don't know. Good, sad, hopeful, all of it. That's okay. You're allowed to feel all of it. We drove home. I sat on my balcony that night, Charlie next to me, the letter from Michael in my lap. I read it one more time. You are more than a mother. You are Margaret. Remember that. I folded it, put it back in the envelope, put it away. I didn't need it anymore. I knew who I was now. I'd spent most of my life believing that being a good mother meant giving everything, sacrificing everything, losing myself completely. But I'd learned something these 18 months. The best thing you can give the people you love is a version of yourself that's whole, even if it means walking away to find her. This wasn't punishment. It was a consequence. This wasn't cruelty. It was self-preservation. And this wasn't the end of love. It was the beginning of knowing what love should actually feel like. If you're listening to this, and you recognize yourself in my story, whether you're the mother who gave too much, or the child who learned to take, I want you to know something. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to choose yourself. And it's never too late to learn that the loudest justice is the one that doesn't say a word.